Hello, welcome to episode 3. Hello, did I just say hello? Okay, this is a good start. I'm Michelle. This is a simple life knitting podcast with a little bit of crafty homewares thrown in. Alright then, we'll just get straight on with it. On the very first episode, I was wearing this shawl, and people have been how rude. The lovely people who have taken the time to comment, some of you have asked me about this shawl, people. This is a shawl, it's a free pattern by Sari Nordlund, and it's called the Kari shawl. And this is, I've just hit my flowers. This is what I was wearing in that episode, and it is knit in West Yorkshire Spinners Roving, their retreat range, in the colourway Tranquil. The yarn they use, now I'm going from memory here, is a cross between, I think it's the Blueface Leicester and the Curry Hill, sure it's the Curry Hill, and I think that's a Welsh breed. Don't hold me to any of that, I'm going back 2 years from my memory. So yeah, that's the Kari shawl. The pattern, I'm sure it's a DK pattern. This is also the Kari shawl, knit in DK, and this is very old, this one. If I can remember, it's an acrylic blend. It's 75% wool, 25% acrylic, I believe, and it's a style craft vintage. Now I haven't seen this again, so I don't know whether this is still out there to buy, but yeah. And the reason why I like this pattern, crikey, this is looking very scruffy now. The reason why I like this pattern is because you increase each side every row, so it ends up being quite a narrow band, but quite thin as well. So in terms of judging by how much you want to knit on it, you can stop whenever you want. The increases are just yarn overs, possibly every round. Don't hold me to that, it's a while since I've knit on it. But yes, it is a lovely, quite a quick knit, just in garter stitch. And I find with this one in particular, because there isn't a lot of bulk down here, if I was to wear it with a coat, it's not all, I get the warmth and the bulk here, but I don't have that much to play with and do with when I zip my coat up. So yeah, I do like this pattern, and pulling these out to show you, I thought, might need to make a third. So that's the Kari shawl by Sari Nordlund, a free pattern. Okay then, the Felix is finished. Oh, what a delightful pattern. What a delightful pattern. I'm sure to make another one, possibly not cardigan, probably the sweater version. I set myself a challenge, you might remember, not to, so I'm knitting this in, sorry for banging, knitting this in the Icelandic unspun Plotulopi. And I challenged, because I'm a tight knitter, I'd avoided it for a long time, and I challenged myself to not snap it. And in all fairness, I didn't snap it, not during knitting, but I did get it caught under my leg. I got the cast on strand caught under my leg, and that went, and it got caught. Well, how are you supposed to? Oh, that's a bit of a muddle, isn't it? Now, I was taking my wool from the middle. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. bigger tangle. So I was taking my wool from the middle and it was snapping as I was pulling it out. So I should, I suppose, take it from the outside. Oh, there's the end. Do you know? I said ages for that end. Never mind. Yeah, so this is how much I have left. It's quite a bit. I have weighed it. I think it's 40 grams, and it doesn't appear to be enough. I would like to use it held double for maybe a hat and or some gloves, and it doesn't appear to be enough for either. So I will have to buy another plate, but I would rather buy another plate, use this up. Yeah, that's how I justify it to myself. I would rather buy another plate, use this up and have something useful and beautiful rather than just having this just sit around. So that's how I've justified it to myself, to buy another plate. Not yet. I think it maybe would be a good project for in the warmer months when I'm not surrounded in wool on my lap as I knit. So yes, I've found a couple of patterns that I think I might like to do. So that's beige heather, I think. I have got a notebook. I did write notes. The only problem being is I've sat down and I've not got it out. I'll sort that out the next time I cut for the next section. So I've got the flowers again. So, do you know, you say, so many of you have said in the comments, please don't change a thing. We love how natural you are. We love how unedited you are. And if I'm going to catch the flowers, it seems as if you don't mind it. So 2 times, do you think we'll catch the flowers a 3rd time? All right then. Oh, the adrenaline's going. Can you see I'm getting a little bit hot? Should I take this off? Try and get through it. All right. So we're on with the Felix. So this is the Felix cardigan by Amy Christoffers. Oh. I'll not go into detail because I did that in episode 2, but I wanted to modify the pattern so it would fit me, and I did such a good job. It really does fit me. I'm so happy with it. That's me tooting my own horn, and I don't do that often, but I'm going to this time. It wasn't difficult to modify. I chose it because I knew that the increases were there, so it was easy to modify to fit me. I did wonder about, so I needed it to be smaller up here, and I did wonder about, because I still carry a little bit of weight on my hips, whether to increase down the side to help with that, and I didn't. I took a punt because I want to lose this, and I am losing it. I'm so warm. I took a punt and I didn't do that, and it fits. It hangs well. There's room for it for me to shrink a little bit more, which I intend to do. But yeah, I'm pleased I didn't put the buttons on. I had a hunch that they may weigh it down, and I'll put some video on of me wearing it somewhere in this section, and you will probably see that it does start to drape. The fabric it makes is so light and airy. There's nothing to it. Very warm still, mind you. But I'm pleased I didn't put the buttons on. I am. Yeah. The camera won't pick this up, but this does have a halo. Being unspun, it's going to, I suppose. I catch strands like 3 inches long. It's crazy. It's obviously it's so weak in the strand, but it knits up so strong, so light though, and so airy. I got gauge with this. I got gauge, and I think it was because I think there's two reasons. One is I've calmed down a lot. Life has taught me that I must keep calm, and I'm doing a good job of that. And the other thing is, like I said last time, I'm being mindful. I don't want to snap the strand, and I've been ever so mindful, and it's just turned it into a very even knit, which I haven't, that was unspun, or a much stronger yarn. It did knit up. It does knit up uneven because it is a little bit uneven. The strands are a little bit uneven. So I'm so happy with this, and yeah, I think Plotulopi will feature again. I've found a pattern that I would like to knit 2 strands double in the autumn, or ready for the autumn. So they're in my future plans. The mistake. Now, so many of you told me I was too hard on myself, and I am too hard on myself. I always have been. I think it's a case of, if I point out my mistakes, then no one else can, and no one else can use it to hurt me or to get to me. Do you see what I mean there? And I'm not saying that I'm doing that as a strategy on YouTube. It's just the way I am, and I think in life I've always pointed out my mistakes before anyone else can. Let me find the mistake there. So I did say, drink my cup of tea, watch the flowers, hit the table. I knit my stitch marker into my work, and then I had to snap it to get it out, and then I lost my rows, my follow-ons for my what are they called? I'll just call them holes, yarn over holes. And I was going to stitch that there to close that hole, to hopefully get it to follow on a little bit better, and I was going to stitch that to try and make it look like just one leg, how it's supposed to here. And I haven't yet, and I have worn it out, but I use public transport a lot, and I think come the spring, possibly early summer, being in the north of England, this will probably be my, sorry, I'm shaking the table and the camera. This will probably be my outerwear piece. And I was sat on the bus yesterday, thinking about the podcast this morning, to be honest. And I just thought, do you know, if I'm sat on the bus with this on, how many people behind me are going to be glaring at that mistake, because it's there right on the back. So I probably will fix it before it comes properly into use as the outerwear. Oh, but yeah, I absolutely adore it. Absolutely adore it. You know, it's going to hang up there like a bag of hammers. I'll just leave it. I'll leave it. I did get my notebook out, and I realised I forgot to say something about the Felix. I used 2 plates, well, 1 and a bit plate, 1 and maybe, just over half, maybe 3/4 of a plate. And that cost me £11.98, which is around about €14 or $16 US. I can't walk into a high street shop or a supermarket and pick up a ready-made acrylic cheap fast fashion piece for £11.98. So I'm amazed at, when you knit, yes, yarn's expensive, and I will, my next project, I'll go into a little bit more detail about that, but there are ways of getting yourself warm with good quality yarns. And you know, we're so lucky that we can knit. We're so lucky. especially, I guess it's a problem all around the world, but here I've seen what my energy bill is going to cost us come April, and it's frightening. They're talking about that there is possibly another energy increase in October for next winter, and that was even before the destabilisation of the world. Horrific, horrific. Yeah, so I was really happy at how much that has actually cost, and it will be, I'm looking at that, it will be well used. All right, so that was the Felix. We're done with the Felix. I can cast on a new project then. No, don't close that. I'm going to put this back on. I'm getting a little bit chilly. Right. So then, next bit. I have a bit of a guilty secret, a guilty pleasure. On a Sunday, me and my husband, we're early risers. We get up really early, and probably my husband will probably get up before I do, and I let him come downstairs and just have some time on his own, and I stay upstairs and have some time on my own. But if he does get up before me, I'll tap on the floor and up comes a cup of coffee. Very spoiled, such a princess. But yeah, I value that time on a Sunday morning. That is my time. And what I do is I very naughtily, first thing in the morning, go on my phone and I scroll through patterns. I never know where the search is going to take me. And this time I stumbled upon, I was looking for Easter spring-like patterns, and I stumbled upon the Foxy sweater by Hoffmann, and I just thought, ooh, I can see the little bits at the top that looks like the seeds, and then the little buds of the bubbles, and a cracking of the egg, and I just thought I was so inspired for this to be my spring sweater. So I had a look at the yarn used, and I think it was Rama Gamal Sari. Now I had my eye on this when Isolde was trading, and it's not that easy to get anymore now. Isolde isn't trading, so I put my thinking cap on, and Jamieson's Spindrift double knitting had a very similar gauge, meterage per, well, this is 25 grams, but meterage per 50 grams, it was similar. So some swatching, and I am hitting gauge exactly, thank goodness. So yes, I am knitting. Oh dear, I am knitting. Oh, I've got it. This is where people edit for good reason. I am knitting the Foxy sweater by Melody Hoffmann in these 3 colours. Now in the sample piece, it was actually the sample piece, the colour of the main body that drew me to the pattern as well. Such a lovely light cream, light beige, and you know, that's a beige. The Augustine's was like a browny beige, and I'm a little bit beiged out, to be honest. And I had a look through all of the patterns, what people had done on the pattern pages, and I saw a grey one, and I thought, So what I did was I compromised, and I got, I can't remember, I got this, which is, let me find the colour because I'm going to be hopeless. Oh, it tells you it's colour 119, and I got the grey undyed mixed with the a cream undyed, so it's the Chalmette and Musket mix. So it is a creamy grey base, and it's probably the contrast probably isn't as great as what it should be, but I don't mind that. I've also made a mistake. I was supposed to use that colour for the start of the little colour work, little dashes, the fleas in here, and I didn't. I used the grey, but I think it's okay. All the little fleas are in now, and I think had I not pointed it out to you and you didn't know the pattern, you wouldn't have known that I'd made a mistake and picked the wrong colour up. The way I'm justifying not ripping it out is because it doesn't really matter, does it? It's preference. It's preference, and subconsciously I must have wanted to use the dark grey next. And who am I to argue with my subconscious? Subconscious. So that's what I've done. Also, I am a little bit worried about this neckline. It seems awfully wide. Take this off. It seems awfully wide. I've got a mirror with a light on here. Let me see. So I don't think it's going to cause a problem, but I have very, very short shoulders. Very short shoulders. And because of my my previous very large bust, I needed to wear really thick straps here. Can you see? You might still be able to see. You see the divot of where in my shoulder where the thick straps used to sit and really dig in. So I've always avoided boat neck sweaters. So this has me worried, but I think it'll be okay. I think it would, if it is as wide as what I think it's going to be, wearing a t-shirt under it's going to be quite daft. It's going to be quite, we'll just have to see how it goes. I did think about maybe wearing it with a camisole, or maybe knitting myself one of the, like the Jessie May bralette kind of things for under it. I think a grey strap might look okay, but we'll come to that at the end. I haven't knit on this for quite a few days now because I stumbled across a problem. The first bit of the problem was my own doing. The first set of increases are up here, and I was on with the second lot of increases after I put the fleas in, and I'd got to the centre marker and realised, oh, where's my centre marker? Oh, I've lost my centre marker. No, I haven't. There it is. I got to the centre marker and I realised that I'd nearly put all of my increases in. So I knew something was up, and I'd used the instructions for the first lot instead of the instructions for the second lot of increases, so I was well off. So I had to rip it all out. I was very grumpy about it, but I ripped it all out. Thankfully, it's Shetland wool and it's toothy and it sticks, and it kind of doesn't go anywhere when you pull it off your needles. So that was the first mistake. So as I was rectifying that, putting it back on the needles, I was dropping stitches midway through my work. I thought, oh no, I must have detached from my cable. No, I was connected to my cable. My licker needle had just come away, the shank had come away from its hold. I was so upset. Yeah, okay, all it needs is a little bit of super glue in there and it will be fine again. The problem is, if I get any super glue anywhere on the outside, that's going to catch on my work. This is a licker needle. I paid a little bit more money for it. As you'll see, in a second my needle collection. I paid a little bit more money for it. I thought it was an investment. It is a 3.7, it is a 3, you can tell how grumpy I am about it. It's a 3.75 needle. So I'm sure I've only used it, only used it for like a DK knit sock, I believe. So I'm not very happy with that at all. Thankfully the work saved. Thankfully it was Shetland wool, so it was a little bit easier. But yes, this has stalled because of this. I really don't want to buy a new one. I'm really quite, yes, grumpy is the word. So that's my Folksy sweater. The continuity in this video with this scarf was not going to be very good, is it? Never mind. All right then. 30 seconds on the Billie pullover, because I know I don't want to bore you, and I'm not going to talk about it other than it is the Billie pullover by Sari Nordlund, and it's knit in Drops Nepal, and it's a piece of work. It's a jumper, a sweater for my husband. I have knit 8 rows on this, and so much time has gone into it that I wouldn't be true to myself and my craft if I sat down here and tell you all about what I get up to in the few weeks since the last time I talked to you, and didn't mention something because I thought YouTube viewers would think it would be boring. I wouldn't be true to myself. So yes, I've dropped it all. Hardly, why is that? That's stuck. Oh, needle in it. It hardly looks like much progress at all. And I know the grey doesn't show up very well on the camera, but that's my progress. Why do I just seem to show ends all of the time? All of the time. Right, get down there. So I am still on the yoke, I'm still on the increases, but I'm just starting to bring in the moss stitch. So that's where I am with the Billie. It's a labour of love. I'm desperate for my husband to have this sweater. I think he would look lovely in it. Excuse me, I'm just picking my wool up. But it is very, very slow going. And that's all I'm going to say about that for you. Righty ho, next bit. My crochet blanket. I have a second, look at that. Oh dear. Where's it gone? Sorry for the crinkling. Yes, I do keep my crochet in a potato bag, and I'm not going to apologise for it. Where's my yarn gone? There it is. Sorry, I'm crinkling again. What? Oh dear. Okay, so this was the first one. Saw that last time, and this is a completed second one. It's blocked. As you can see, the little dome in the middle is coming out, so I think we're going to be all right. Now, as I mentioned earlier, my tension has, should I put this on the other shoulder for you? My tension seems to have softened a little bit. I was doing this one when I wasn't very well last year, and I do remember what I used to do with my crochet is I used to make the stitch, and I think I somehow used to pull the yarn tight on the hook, and then go in and make the next stitch, pull it tight, and I'm not doing that on this one. So of course this one is now bigger than this one, and it's bigger by about a row all the way around. So I'm in a dilemma. I don't know whether to leave it and just kind of bluff my way around it and attach it by, that's my yarn for the borders and to attach it all together. It's got a Jamieson's label on, but it's not Jamieson's, it's Jamieson and Smith, and it's a grey brown, another grey brown. There's a theme. Whip stitch it together and try and bluff my way out of it. I'll pull that row out, have one less pattern round repeat, yeah, again I'll have to whip stitch it or something like that, because I couldn't attach it as I go, because I'm going to have less, I'm going to have a square less on each side. I think instinct is saying leave it alone, whip stitch it together, and then block it, and just hope that this eases a little bit more. Oh, I don't know. What do you think? What should I do? Do you think I should pull that row out and have it one row short, but being somewhere near size-wise? Probably. Yeah, I'd love to know what you think. Love to know what you think there. Yeah, so that's that. I am buying yarn for this now to bring this to a completion, but I'm okay with it, because that one, so much of my ends went in that square, so much of my ends went in that square, and I still have, I still had enough going in there and enough going in there to warrant making a blanket with it. So even though I've got to buy more to bring it to a completion, I had a lot of wasted yarn just sitting around not doing anything. So I'm quite happy with that. Right, potato sacks going to rumble. There we are. Next bit. If you watched episode 2, you may remember that I was hand quilting a square for a needle case, and to finish my needle case, I'm so thrilled with this. I needed to buy the bias binding for it, so I went completely and utterly off-piste, and I just got a really bright hot pink, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Whether I could wear hot pink, could I wear hot pink? Probably not, but it goes with the pinks, the darker pinks in the flowers, and it's just such a lovely piece of fun. All right, so I'll open it. Now I'm going to show you where's best, probably. Yeah, there. Okay then. So I had to go over. So that was my first attempt at attaching the bias binding. And there's all sorts of coloured threads in this, all sorts. I just used what I had, and when I ran out, I just picked another colour. I'm not a fussy perfectionist at all, but I needed to reinforce it with the grey, because it wasn't. I suppose I was stitching too far inward. I should have been on the edge, making sure that I captured the stuffing, the wadding, and the quilted part. But yeah, I'm not a sewist, and I needed a case, and I just went for it. So that's the front. My bias binding I just sewed together to make the strap that fastens around the back, and then I open it out. Now I couldn't figure out a way around this, but to stitch I've had to stitch into the back of the case to get my compartments for my needles. I couldn't work out how to do it without it infiltrating that back edge. But when it's folded, you can't see it anyway, and it's not a problem because I love it anyway. So that's the inside, and as you can see, the hot pink goes with the colours on the inside as well. And I used what I had for this bit. A brighter pink would have been nicer, but it doesn't matter. So, whoa, there's my needles. I've only done, what was the biggest needle I have? I've only gone up to 7mm. So every needle from 3.25 up to 7mm has a spot. And I've left these in case I need to buy any more needles. Sorry, my concentration went then. In case I need to buy bigger needles, I can stitch a slot in and they'll have a home. Yeah, so as you can see, my needle collection is a mixture between the Knit Pro birch, I think, and the Licker. And I haven't had any problems with the cheaper Knit Pro birch, but I have had problems with the Licker. It is wonky. I have stitched it wonky, and that's okay. We ignore that. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's such a useful item to have, and I now have a needle case, and I'm really thrilled with that. Really thrilled. If you're not a sewist and you have a sewing machine, give it a go, because if I can do it, anyone can do it. And also, this was hand quilted, and I enjoy using my hand because I have the control. When I'm using the machine controls me, and I get very flustered, and I don't enjoy sewing at all. I think I could have done this by hand anyway. I mean, it would have took time, but that doesn't matter. Certainly, I think I could have done these parts by hand. Maybe I should have. Maybe it wouldn't have been as wonky then. I entered this in to the Thoughtful Knitters make along. She is running. Let me find it. She is running. The lovely Ailey is running the Eclectic Crafting Mal on Instagram, and I entered this in the Eclectic Crafting Mal FO. And I think some of you have seen it on there, because I had never hand quilted before, and I hadn't ever made a needle case before, and sewing machine is something that, yes, I have used before, but I'm certainly not skilled at it. So it is a nod of support for the Thoughtful Knitter. And because I never enter competitions, I never enter mals, I never enter anything like that, it's nice to be part of something. And I think yeah, it was a good decision to enter that one. I'd made a start on my lamp stand. I'll put a picture in. Let's not bang the plug everywhere. I'll put a picture in of what it looked like in the beginning. I got this second hand, and I knew straight away it was a project. I wanted to see what I could do with it. Now, many people might think, well, Michelle, you've ruined that lamp stand. I'm happy with it. I use crackle glaze. I have no idea whether this will pick up, but I use crackle glaze on it. I use French sheet crackle glaze on it, and their chalk paint. It could have been better. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another layer of crackle glaze on and another layer of paint, but maybe in a grey, and hopefully the creamy crackle will come through the grey crackle, and it might just add depth to it, because at the minute this looks quite scruffy. It does, doesn't it? It looks quite scruffy. I did think about leaving it like this and putting a brown wax on to like maybe age it that way as well. But I think, in all honesty, I would like this as an entrance lamp, not a bedroom lamp. And the plans in my head for my house when I get it is grey. So I think we'll have a little bit more play with this and see what we can do. And if all else fails, I will sand it and just put one coat of paint on. It was inexpensive, it was second hand, it was a project. I think I might have learnt something about chalk paint. It's a win-win. Let's just keep playing, let's just keep learning and see if we can make something beautiful. And that's it. I do believe. Yeah, I think that's it. So well done for getting to the end. I hope I haven't talked too fast. I have felt the adrenaline this time because I know how many people have subscribed and are watching, and that's quite nerve-wracking. Yeah, thanks ever so much. See you next time. Bye.